Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Breakfast Trades. Today, we're going to talk about altcoins. I think we're going to have a very bullish month for altcoins, and you're going to see a lot of big green candles. And what happens when you see big green candles? Everyone wants to FOMO into them. But we've also done this plenty of times, and we don't want to FOMO into the top either, right? And then instantly take a 5 or 10% loss. So I'm going to talk about today is about how to handle these situations when you enter in late. How to manage your risk, how to potentially scalp these, and how to manage your positions while getting these late entries. Really hope you guys enjoy this, and let's get into it. All right, we're going to start by looking at Tron or TRX, Justin Sun. Everyone knows him. I'm sure he made an announcement of an announcement and, pumped his coin again like he always does, right? All right, I'm just kidding. But let's take a look here and how we would play this. So let's say you're one of those people that is super patient and you draw an ascending channel here. And you see, okay, cool. I'm going to be super patient. I'm going to buy a breakout retest. And this is going to go to the moon, right? Bullish pattern. Well, you pretty much get a breakout with no retest and you moon here. All right. So what do? How do you play this? Well, first off, you guys are going to like this. All right. You can take your Fibonacci from the most immediate impulse and draw it up here. All right. That's all you got to do. And I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say my 0.382 fib is my bullish level. And we're going to draw that right here. And I'm basically going to look for this level to hold as support and I can buy there for bullish continuation. All right. Now, when I get a big impulse candle like this, I almost always expect it to retrace down to the 382 once it starts retracing. So I'm almost always going to expect this to happen. And then after it hits this level, if it holds as support, I'm almost always going to expect a retrace back to the 0.236. All right. So no matter what, from a scalp perspective, I'm almost always going to expect this 0.382 up to the 0.236. So if I'm just scalping this on the daily chart, and I would obviously go to lower time frames to confirm the support hold, but you can see there I would have gotten almost a 7% scalp just from here to here. That's amazing, right? Now, how do I have confirmation to hold this longer is if I get my next close above the 236 and then we see the subsequent retest and hold and continuation. That's perfect. All right. So now we missed this whole candle here, but we get in on a retest of the 0.382 and we're in this trade now. And you can see here, if we zoom out at some point, I bet you this is going to keep going. This looks like a nice bullish breakout. Alts have been bullish recently anyway. So you now have pretty good entry, especially if this keeps going up, right? So this works on pretty much any chart on multiple different time frames. So if you see this type of breakout on a 1 hour candle, you can obviously put the same rules into application. All right. So let's say you are waiting on a trade here and you see this start to break out and you don't want to buy a big green candle, but it's already halfway up and you really want entry here and you've got some bids sitting here in case you retest, but you don't think a retest is coming. What can you do? All right. This is what a lot of people struggle with. And this is why a lot of people get burned buying the tops of these, because what happens is they buy the top here and it resells and it goes down and they were too overexposed. All right. And that's the key here is overexposure and risk management. So if I enter a position here, okay, let's just say I'm going to enter a position here, okay, right at 663. And for that, we're just going to say I'm going to put my stop loss below this yellow line just for purposes of this video. And my target's going to be whatever. We'll say our target is right where price went. So that's a 3% risk and my target's pretty irrelevant. But the key is a 3.8% risk. All right. If I have a 3.8% risk and my rules state that I can risk 1.5% of my account every trade, then I can pretty much do about half of my account into this trade, right? Does that make sense? So I could put about half my account into this trade. And that'll give me about a 1% risk or so. And I'm just kind of estimating here. And that'll give me about a 1% risk or so. And then if I get stopped out, it's a small loss. All right. Now, let's say I don't notice this until price is up here. Okay. Now what do? I want to put my stop loss in the same spot because that's still my invalidation level. But now I have a 16%, almost 17% stop loss. Now my risk to reward is still great. That's fine. This is totally a valid trade, totally acceptable. but I can't go with the full size position now. So if I did half my account here now, that would put me at almost 9% risk for my account, a little over 8% risk. And that's too much for me to want to risk on one trade of my full account, right? So that's how you can handle getting these late entries, is you start doing smaller positions now. All right. So instead of doing $50,000 here with 16% risk, you could do $25,000, cut your risk in half, or even $15,000. Whereas down here, when you have this really nice risk to reward ratio, you maybe can do that full $50,000 size position. Okay. So that's how you can manage your risk on these pumps. If I was entering up here, all right, where do I put my stop loss? Probably below invalidation here. That's a 38% risk. Can I do a full size position there? Can I do half my account there? No, that's going to be risking 20% of my account. That's terrible. That's just poor risk management. One other thing a lot of people do is they enter up here and they go full size and they have a 4% risk or whatever. They enter half size position, half of their account at this, which gives them 2% risk, and then they get stopped out. And then they move it down and they get stopped out again, and they get stopped out all the way. So one way to avoid that is you have to understand where you're entering at and where your invalidation is. So if my invalidation is down here, that doesn't change just because price is up here. All right, we could definitely go down and retest this again. So I have to be aware of this, and I'm not just going to keep going large size and keep getting stopped out and stopped out. I'm going to reduce my size if I join in late. All right. And then worst case, I get stopped out at my normal risk percentage and I reassess later on, and now I can get a better entry. Let's say price does drop down to here and retests. I could get an entry now here with a maybe 10% stop loss. All right. With a nice target here. And then now I'm reducing my risk. So I got a nice lower stop loss, and I have a smaller position size now because, again, my stop loss is still not, really small. So it's a little bit wider. So I do a little bit smaller position, and now we go up. All right, just to recap, you guys, if you're getting in late, reducing position size is the best way to ensure proper risk management. Moving up your stop loss close to your position is an easy way to get stopped out if you're getting in late. So best way I've found over time to avoid this is by reducing position size and widening stop losses. I really hope you guys enjoyed that segment. Remember, the 0.382 Fibonacci is going to be your bullish continuation level. It's really useful after a large impulse. And then over time, if you're getting these late entries, the safest way I've found to avoid getting stopped out and taking losses is to just widen your stop loss down, reduce your position size, and still be able to stay in the position. If you move up your entry, move up your stop loss with it, there's a lot more likelihood that you're going to be stopped out of that. And over time, you can end up taking a lot more losses when your idea is still correct. So if you're being stopped out, a lot of times, even when your idea is correct, think about keeping your stop loss down at an invalidation level and just reducing your position size if your entry is a little bit higher and you're, chasing, as they call it. Hope you guys enjoyed this enough to retweet it and share with everyone, and stay tuned for next episode of Breakfast Trades.